How did your parents fail you? I was 16 when mom missed my emergency appendectomy. Dad called her 5 times while I writhed in pain. Important meeting, he kept saying, voice getting tighter. The surgeon wouldn't wait. I went under alone, Dad's worried face the last thing I saw. When I woke up, only Dad sat beside me, eyes red-rimmed. Mom's on her way, he promised. I nodded, too groggy to argue, but deep down, I knew better. She arrived 3 hours later, laptop bag still slung over her shoulder, smelling of airport and coffee. The Chicago deal, she explained, not meeting my eyes. Couldn't reschedule. She squeezed my hand too hard, like pushing all her guilt into my palm. Dad just nodded, the same way he had through my childhood. When she missed my birthday for a conference, my graduation for a client emergency, my championship game for a last-minute flight. It's fine, I said. The words automatic, the family script. That night, I overheard them arguing in the hallway. She could have died, Dad hissed, while you were closing some goddamn deal. That deal pays for her college. Mom shot back, for this hospital, for everything. I pretended to be asleep when she came back in. I'm doing it all for you, she whispered, thinking I couldn't hear. 2 years later, I got my acceptance letter to Yale, full scholarship. I found Mom in her office, surrounded by spreadsheets. When I showed her the letter, she hugged me tight. I'm so proud of you, she said, voice breaking. This is everything we worked for. I pulled away. We? Emma, you weren't there, I said, words spilling out after years of silence. For anything that mattered. That's not fair. Everything I did was for your future. I didn't need a future. I needed a mom. That night, Dad found me packing. Your mother loves you, he said quietly from my doorway. She loves the idea of me, the successful daughter she can brag about to colleagues. He sat on my bed. There's something you need to know. He pulled out an old photo. Mom holding a baby in a hospital room. This was you, born 6 weeks early while your mom was finishing law school. Her professors told her to drop out. Her parents refused help unless she focused on being a mother instead of a career woman. His voice turned bitter. Everyone expected her to choose, you or her dreams. So she chose her career, I said flatly. She chose both, against impossible odds. He handed me papers. Bank statements, medical bills with overdue stamps, loan documents with astronomical interest rates. Your mom grew up poor. When you got sick as a baby, really sick, our insurance wouldn't cover it. She took that corporate job for better benefits, worked 100-hour weeks to keep you safe. I stared at the papers, hands shaking. Every missed soccer game, every school play. She was securing your future, paying off medical debt, building a safety net so you'd never know the poverty she grew up in. Why didn't she tell me? I whispered. She didn't want you to feel like a burden. She wanted you to feel entitled to success, not to see it as something you had to kill yourself for. That night, I found Mom asleep at her desk, her face pressed against her keyboard. A half-written email to Yale's financial aid office was on her screen, asking about additional scholarships. I covered her with a blanket, noticing for the first time the gray in her hair, the deep lines around her eyes. On her calendar, she'd blocked off my entire first week at Yale as vacation, the first in years. She failed me by not being there, but she did it while fighting a war I never knew existed, to give me choices she never had.